The AFC North Bomb edition of the Bottom Line Bombs on Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with promo code BOMBS to claim your first-time deposit. Offer up to $250 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code BOMBS. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Rhythm's college football and NFL picks and projections now live. Claim your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. And with that, we will start the show soon here. As soon as I find out how to get rid of this and do, why do I always come but do? Here comes the theme song. Now I will do it. Here we go. Bomb. Welcome to the Bottom Line Bombs. I am your host, Scumbagger Vance, the bet detective, the laddie daddy, the man in the box. CJ Sullivan. Oh, I got no. Of course, I have also the Bombino for my baseball place, and new name as well, the Deli Llama. Shout out to I got an email fan. I gave you C. Generates a job for me. Welcome, first of all, to the Bottom Line Bombs. It is Monday, August 5th. Coming to broadcasting live from Eagle Rock, California. But I believe anyway, I told you C. Generates because I give you the right number. You know what I mean? I always get a good number on you, you know what I mean? Say like, oh, I got a bad number. Let the deli owner get you. And I wanted a deli nickname, so I see Generates, and Todd Sproles emailed me and said, "How about the Deli Llama?" So I like the Deli Llama. Pardon me. Also, I like how my fans email me. You know, that's hardcore. That's also very analog. My fan base doesn't know how to get on social media or DM like the rest of society. They'll scrounge up and find your email list. I don't even know how my email list got out there. It's like from my comedy website, which has been very outdated. But I got like back-to-back days of fan letters from emails, which I love. That's very old man. I think I do have a Bottom Line Bombs email. BottomLineBombs@SGPN. But anyway, you guys can handle all that. I'll get to that. I'm just saying, I love my C Generates. I love how you guys email and write letters and type it out. The whole thing. Anyway, we got a big show today. It is August, the second day of divisional previews. Now we move to the AFC North. We started with the NFC North. Right? Now we go to the tough AFC North. Bloated division. Baltimore, Cincinnati, Cleveland, and Pittsburgh. I'm going to work on the bottom. I got two guests again. That's what happened. Usually there's never guests in the box. I had a strict, not a strict policy. I just didn't do it. Didn't have time with me blabbing away. And I had 3 career guests before that. I had Adam Ridley, producer of the 30 for 30 on the American Gladiators. I had Kevin Bozeman, giving the ball with Bozeman picks, and Hannibal Buress for his hockey picks. And that was it. And then last show, I decided, you know what? Let's get a couple in there for the football previews, and it worked out. It worked out so much. You had Xavier Lamont, great Bears preview, and Mike Burns, Dad Boner gave a Detroit. So I'm like, you know what? Let's keep going. So now I think I'm going to have guests for all these NFL previews. Let's do it. I got a roster full of old idiots. I like to dig up and get some dust off. They're great insiders, boots on the ground. A lot of personalities I got to. So today, 2 more guests for the AFC North. First one, which I'll do after the ad break, representing Cleveland, the Cleveland Browns, who might have a big year here in the AFC North. I have Brian McGannon, the old Prince of St. Edwards, the tilted nose at Fordham Rams, you know, and Browns insider. He's always got a deep knowledge of who the scatbacks are in Cleveland. And then at the end of the show, I have a pre-recorded interview with Ken Barnard. He's a Yinzer living in enemy territory in Baltimore. So that'll be great. We'll have Steelers and Ravens that are connected. But we have a whole AFC North. We got people coming into the chat room. Come on into the chat room. Newborn comes in here with the Go Browns. We'll get some Browns talk in there. I think I know who Newborn is here. CCFL is represented very well today here on the Bottom Line Bombs episode. Hopefully we'll sneak a man in the box in there. We'll see. The problem is with all these new guests and all this, it's less work for me. It's great having guests and having to do interviews. I don't do shit. But I run out of time. I can't even do my own thing. I can't talk Olympics. I can't talk man in the box. Pardon me, I'm coughing. That's very unprofessional. So I was drinking a LaCroix, but that's what we're doing. I have my Phillies hat on. I'm going to the Phillies-Dodgers game later. I'll talk about that when I do the game time read. Why am I wasting the time here anyway? Yeah, let's talk. Let's get into some Olympic talk now while I have you here, just up front, because that is what's happening. We hit our bombs. Let me get. This isn't some Olympic song. The Olympics! Trashing for gold! That's nice. That's nice in the morning. In honor of my guest, Brian McGannon, who'll be coming up on the other side, I like to listen to that music as I take a nice morning shit. That's something he would say. It's a joke he would have. No, so I feel like that's what I feel like. It's just a nice Christmas. I have an orchestra playing as you get your nice morning pinch off it anyway. But the Olympics, hey, we hit a couple more Olympics. We hit that Noah Lyles bink, plus 120. American men brought it home with the 100 meter. 4 by photo finish. That was pretty amazing. By the lean. Man, that 100 meter sprint, they got some ballers there. They have like the chains. I can hear my dad now saying how fast would they go if they would take those chains off. We also faded Sha'Carri Richardson, that pothead. She lost. She blew it. She had a terrible start. I say pothead tongue in cheek because it's hilarious that she got suspended for marijuana last Olympics. Like, who gives a fuck? It does not make you run faster. But she had a bad start, apparently. I don't know. It's amazing watching the track guys break down the track. Like, they broke down that 100 meter yesterday. It was one of the best races ever. Like inch by inch, how he started off slow. He's behind. They do this weird fucking like picture on picture frames. Like in like here he is after 20 meters, 30 meters, 40 meters. First of all, what is it in yards? Don't give me this metric system. I know the rest of the world does a metric system, but can we just for us, since we're American, we're obviously much more important. Can we have it by yards, please, so we know what the hell's going on? Just kidding. But anyway, it was a good bank. We hit Noah Lyles. Took it out of those Jamaican hands. Although we did lose with the Polish hammer throws. Anyway. The Olympics are going on right now. Obviously, they just start finishing up. Simone Biles apparently already lost. You know what's another thing I love about the Olympics? When it's in Europe or something like that, the time zone problem. You know, it's all on NBC and the Peacocks and USA's, whatever. ESPN, every 4 years, they like to think they're journalists. They all of a sudden journalism means something to ESPN when because they spoil all the Olympic result scores. They got to give you the real lifetime scores because they don't have the TV rights to it and they don't want you watching it later. So they love telling you the results and spoiler. Simone Biles fell. She came in 5th. No need to watch that. No need to watch. Well, we're journalists. Oh, now you're journalists, ESPN. Now you give a shit about accuracy in reporting. Also, here's Pat McAfee in a tank top calling a woman a trans boxer for fucking a half an hour. Good Lord, that trans boxing story. Come on with that. That was amazing. If you don't know, the women's boxing, her name was like Amin Khalif of Algeria. And she's butch. I'll say that. She beat up this Italian woman who quit 40 seconds into it. And then the right, they all went into like that because they've been pushing this whole trans men performing women's sports. Like, and they didn't do any research on this. First of all, she's not trans. It's illegal in Algeria to be trans. She's a woman who's been boxing her whole life and is mediocre. It's not even that great. She played in the last Olympics and lost. No one cared. But they were so happy about this story. They were like, fuck it, here we are, men beating up women. She's not trans. Well, too late now. We're going with it. That facts mean absolutely nothing. She is a butch. I will say that. There's this poor Italian woman. Her dad died. Oh, Mamma mia. Madonna. She quit. She never been hit so hard in her life. She said, I got hit by his Adam's apple. So everyone came out without any research and just saying, get men out of these fucking women's sports. That McAfee, Jesus Christ. He has so many fucking problematic things. He was just like, could be a guy, could be a guy. I'm not saying I didn't do enough research, but I'm going to talk about it anyway. Hey, shout out to the Olympics, though. I like when he tries to throw his olive branch. Shout out to the Olympics, right, guys? We love the Olympics. Oh, cool. Shout out to the Olympics, Pat. Hey, Olympics, did you hear that? The punter in the tank top said, shout out to you. But anyway, we all can agree dudes shouldn't punch chicks in the face, especially that white bitch from Italy. Very classy take on everything. Protect our daughters. Dan Orlovsky had to retrieve that one. Anyway, turns out she's not trans. And she did get banned by this Russian corporation that's been banned from the Olympics by the IOC, which tells you how dirty they are. The IOC's like, yeah, you're a little too scumbaggy for us. They banned her after she beat a Russian woman because she looked. That's a really cool thing we're doing for political reasons. Making this woman who's probably not had an easy life, being a butch woman from Algeria, who turned into a fighter, making her cry after winning an Olympic match. That's a fun thing to do. Show us your fucking pull down your pants. And that's what the Russian Federation said. Like, we did a sex test. What was it? Well, we got to keep that private. Oh, that you got to keep private? Besides calling her a fucking dude? Oh, man. Anyway, lots to talk about today. I might as well start getting. I forgot to tell you that these NFL divisional previews that I'm doing in August, SGPN is also doing their 32 team previews. And as a bonus, each team preview includes a code word. You submit the 32 code word phrase. You could be the lucky winner who gets a $500 NFL Circa Future bet. Subscribe wherever you get your podcast in the SGPN app. I just did an episode with the guys on the main show about the Jacksonville Jaguars. And if you're listening to me, they're bullish on they're bearish on the, which one's bad? They're bull and bear. I'm bullish on the Jags. They're bearish on the Jags. But if you win that, if you listen to teams, get that $500 Circa Future bet. I gave out a beautiful 100-1 future bet. You could put that $500 on. What is it? I'll tell you what it is. It's Trayvon Walker, Defensive Player of the Year. Lock that up. 100-1. Anyway. We got a good show. Why waste time? Because I know my next guy's going to go long anyway. So let me do a quick read, and then I'll come back. And then when I come back from the read, we're going to have Brian McGannon for you, talking Cleveland Browns, the legend, Prince of St. Edmunds. But first, I must tell you about Underdog Fantasy. Let me get that in there for you. Underdog Fantasy is the premier fantasy football site for you and me. It can go streaking. You go 11-0 run, get 1,000 times your money. You play Best Ball Mania. Now, I love Best Ball season. $15 million in prizes. They just added a college football contest for Best Ball. You can use specials. Go to use, you can use anyone's. Use my Trayvon Walker play if you want. Go to underdogfantasy.com, sign up with my promo code BOMBS to claim your special pick and first-time deposit, offer up to $250 in bonus cash. Underdogfantasy.com, promo code BOMBS, BOMBS. Also, we're brought to you by Game Time. Let me switch over to that one. Oh, boo, boo, boo. Game Time is a ticket-getting app. You get the day of game prices. Get the cheapest ticket prices the day of the game. Let's say there's somewhere you want to go, like me, myself. Like the Phillies are playing the Dodgers in Los Angeles at Chavez Ravine. I'm not going to go ahead of time, with like a mop. Get those soaked prices. I go towards the Game Time. I go to the Game Time app. I fire that up. I use a promo code CFBX. Get 20% off. Bang, here I go. Phillies Dodger tickets. 2 insufferable fan bases. I'm going to be right in the middle of it. So I got my hat. You can save up to 60% off buying last minute for sports, concerts, comedy, and theater. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code SGPN, $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Create an account, redeem code SGPN, $20 off. That's what I did. Got myself Phillies Dodgers tickets. I'm going tonight and tomorrow. What will I bet? Well, I'll tell you that in the end. That's for sure. All right, we're back here on the Bottom Line Bombs. I am your host, CJ Sullivan, the man in the box, the laddie daddy, the bet detective, and we are talking AFC North football previews, divisional previews all August as we go through futures, team previews in all the North. Great division, AFC North. And I have a guest I'm going to bring into the stage. Let me see if I can get him in there. Oh, here we go. There it is right there. Oh, hold on. Let me lock in closer. Bang. There he is.
You see me okay?
I see you. Perfect. Here he is. And let me, I got something else for you. I got a banner for you. There he is. The Prince of St. Edwards, Fordham Rams tilted nose, Browns insider, Cleveland's own Brian McGannon, the ex-nose guard. How you doing, Brian?
Doing pretty good, CJ. Good to see you.
Now, this is exciting. I was excited to get you have on here. You're definitely a great Browns insider for us here.
Yeah.
And I know you're excited. Anytime you get to perform out there, you text me a lot of ideas you had going for it. I said, let's just get you a lot of character work you wanted to do. I said, let's get you first. Let's get McGann. See how the C Generous and the people like you. And here you are calling in from a car. What's going on? Are you on a lunch break or something out there? What's going on? Your mic, the mic isn't working there. Of course, you're having a little technical problems there. What's going on there?
My ear?
Yeah, I hear. How's your connection? Yeah, is your connection a little bad
good.
there?
It's great.
All right, I hear
Full
you now.
blast. Full blast. Yeah. The Browns just finished up their PM workout for the day. So I was charting QBs.
Oh boy, of course he's going out there. All right, how you doing there, bro? Jesus,
I'm doing
Christ.
great.
I know. Where do you call it?
I'm doing great.
You got a good stable connection. You got the headphones in. All right, there you are. You're calling outside of training camp there. You're doing some QB check in there. How we feeling? How are you, by the way?
I'm doing great. Sunny day today. But the Browns continue to look crisp. There's a lot of new guys on the team. Team looks good. And just enjoying the summer here before we get back to the season.
Great. Yeah, let's talk about these Cleveland Browns here. Let me pull up. I made a slide here on Canva. I did some skills there, if you can see there for the folks at home. 11 great year last year, 11-6. Joe Flacco came off the couch, and saved the season. Kevin Stefanski won Coach of the Year. Second time he's done that. You guys had 5 different quarterbacks, although Watson and Flacco won most of those 9 of those 11 games, I believe. Mm-hmm. It's a huge year for Deshaun Watson. He was 5-1 in those 6 games, but he really did nothing. He threw for like 186 yards a game. He's whatever. But we'll get to him. What do you think of your Browns overall? You're always pretty high on your Browns until reality comes in, then you feel doomed. How do you think about your Cleveland Browns going into this year?
Last year was really, really important.
Mm-hmm.
There was no reason that I thought that they would be able to make it to the playoffs, but they did. Coach Stefanski won Coach of the Year for the second time in 4 years, so he's really got a program going on there. Their defense is great.
Yeah.
Schwartz was the difference last year.
Incredible.
And like you said, they were winning games with PJ Walker. They were winning games with Dorian Thompson Robertson and Joe Flackwell. Some of the best football that he's played in his career.
I like when they got him. I like they get him off the couch. Quarterbacks, they always get off the couch, but kickers, they get off the street. That's what they say,
Exactly.
Like kickers hide under a bridge, but quarterbacks are under couches eating potato chips, and then they fit right in. And there was no better fit than I couldn't believe that was Flacco's first run with the Browns. Seems like he was always been a Brown.
You would have thought.
Was there a stat where he threw more touchdowns?
Thought, yeah.
Didn't he? Didn't he throw more touchdowns at that stadium than any Browns quarterback or something like that?
Ever. He had the most successful 4 or 5 game stint than any quarterback in the history of the franchise ever. With no preseason, knowing little about the playbook, being older than most of the coaching staff. Yeah. But anyways, I would put probably the win total at 11 games for the Browns this year.
Wow, that's very optimistic since Vegas has an 8.5. So you can find some alternative numbers there. 11.5. Jesus. And you're not worried about that tough division with Baltimore and Cincinnati?
No, absolutely not. I think the AFC North is the most overrated division in football.
Wow. Okay.
This year, I mean, Lamar Jackson, for some reason, I think he's hit or miss. Well, that's not necessarily true. He's mostly hit, but they haven't won the Super Bowl yet. The Steelers, they have Rainn Wilson as their starting quarterback.
Rainn Wilson, right?
Very fragile. So I don't like the AFC North, contrary to popular belief in the football world, but I do see the Browns getting to the playoffs, but I don't see them going far.
All right, that's great. Before we dive deep into it, let me take just a couple general questions. Looking at the Canva thing here, 8.5 course, 5-1 to win the division, which are third odds. I think they have a loaded roster. But looking at that, what's with this elf the Browns have added on to the mascot? I know this is pretty recent. What is it and why? What's going on with the elf mascot?
Just trying to rebrand the team. It just going further and further back into the lore of the Cleveland Browns. And the elf, the very first official mascot that the Browns had. And so just trying to be more nostalgic and, it's a hard, there is no logo really, like there's no eagle. There's no really like hardcore mascot. There's just the colors.
Right.
So,
and it's the worst color.
You always say that.
Well, you always say, it is the color. It is the color of shit. And I'm looking at the Dog Pound. Famous fans, of course, the Dog Pound. Is that man with us still? That's something. He'd always have the bone. He looks completely unhealthy up there. The Dog Pound fans.
I think he's passed away.
I was going to say, I imagine we've lost a few of those from the 80s, from the Bob Golick days up there in the Dog Pound. Those guys who would be shirtless up there, they could not have survived. They certainly didn't survive COVID. That's for sure.
Yeah, and I don't mean to be disrespectful to Big Dog's family if they're watching this, but I think he's passed away.
They do tune in occasionally, like to say, but shout out to the Big Dogs here. All right, let's move on to Deshaun Watson. That's the big story with the Browns. They gave him the most absurd guaranteed contract in the history of sports, coming off of 100 sexual assaults there at the massages. And it's even worse than the sexual assaults for Cleveland fans. He hasn't been good when he's played football. But there's a lot of hope in him bouncing back. I love him as comeback player of the year, 15-1, because not only is he coming back from an injury, but he's also coming back from being terrible, and he's coming back from a sex scandal. I mean, that's the trifecta. How could he? All he has to do is do something out there, and he's going to win comeback player of the year.
Well, the other elephant in the room with Deshaun Watson, we all know what the first elephant in the room is, but the second one is that he hasn't finished an NFL season in 8 years.
Yeah.
He gets injured, and he's going to get injured for the Browns. Like, that's going to happen.
Right.
He's not in the kind of offense that the Browns run and thrive in doesn't necessarily lend itself to like creativity. It's kind of like, make your read and throw the ball on time. he just didn't seem to fit in with the Browns offense. Now, the Browns brought in Ken Dorsey in as the new offensive coordinator to kind of
Yes.
retrofit the Browns offense to go
Came from
more of like
Buffalo.
came from Buffalo, had success with Cam Newton, had success with Jared Allen in
Yes.
Buffalo. So we'll see what happens. It's still elementally and foundationally the same offense. It's just like I said, retrofitted. Because Watson,
Did you?
he just didn't seem to click. He just doesn't seem to click in with
Gotcha.
Stefanski's.
Now, did you write? Did you write that word elementally down there on your car there to make sure you had you have a cue card? Something I liked it. You fit it in beautifully, but
No,
it was fit.
I read a lot.
Fantastic. Now the Browns. People are piping up in the chat room. Serial want to know if Massage Watson, is he looking crisp in camp? By the way, how's he looking?
He actually looks great in camp. He's coming off of surgery, but it wasn't. It was a bone surgery, shoulder bone.
Right.
It wasn't a ligament or a rotator cuff. So he's come back crisp. You know, like obviously they have him on a pitch count, but he's looked good. But yeah, he should look good at this stage.
I mean, he's got
career.
the talent to do it. He hasn't played good in a while, but he does have the talent. And then that Ravens game is that thing, but when he got hurt in, but it was his best game. I mean, there's that glimmer of hope of like, oh, that's right. He still was. I mean, he was a top 5 quarterback year after year. I mean, he does have that in there. So, and this roster is loaded. It all just comes down to Watson, if you ask me. Of course, you have Nick Chubb, who tore his ACL. Kyle Boland in the chat room says he likes him as comeback player of the year. I don't know about that because I don't know. He's not going to start. I don't know. Will he start the season playing? I think they ease him into it, right? Because he tore his. What week did he tear his ACL last year?
Week 3 against the Steelers.
Week 3. So yeah, that'd be less than a full year. I mean, I don't know. I mean, players come back quicker now, but like, I don't know. I think Chubb's year. I mean, you know, Jerome Ford stepped up amazing. Kareem. They still have Kareem Hunt. Do they bring him back?
Goodbye.
He's That's
gone.
what I thought. He is gone.
Yeah.
Who else do they have who would back up Jerome Ford? You're always pulling out good Cleveland Brown running backs and sleepers in our fantasy league, guys we've never heard of, drafting them for no reason. Who should we keep an eye out though for those Cleveland Brown young hot steppers?
Pierre White is going to surprise a lot of people this year.
Wow.
Running back they got to trade from the Patriots.
Yes.
Number 20 in your playbooks and in your heart.
I like that. It's Pierre White. So lock him in there. I mean, because the running back room, I do believe that Chubb will, you know, come along a little slowly. And then Jerome Ford, I mean, there's an opening there for carries, I believe.
November. Now, think early to mid-November for Chubb. That's when you're going to start seeing him getting lubed up.
Lubed up, no pun intended when it comes to Deshaun Watson getting lubed up. The Browns, of course, there's that famous guy with the jersey of all the number of quarterbacks that played for the Browns, you know, from Tim Couch and K McNabb, all the names that went through it, you know, there's 20 or 30 of them. You really haven't had a quarterback. I mean, well, you did have Baker that he left, but Bernie Kosar, I just had to put him in. I had to put him in there. Of course, Browns legend, who is now suing. He's not suing the Browns, but he got fired from his job as being the Browns consultant because he was forced to place a bet on from some fucking podcast studio. And then he's telling a story how they're bullying him like he's some old man. It's pretty amazing. Now, was this just a cover up that the Browns want to get him fired anyway because he used to hang around on pills and things like that? Or what's the story? What's going on there with Bernie Kosar?
It just doesn't add up, man. They do Bernie so dirty. Like maybe there's something behind the scenes that we don't know about, but like, I mean, Cleveland fans love him. We feel that there should be a statue of him everywhere. We feel that he should be entrenched with the franchise, but no, he's been sort of excommunicated from the franchise for putting on a charity bet. So somehow they like finagled that, which I don't know. I feel like they set him up so they could legally like lock him out of the building. But yeah. Very, very sad what's going on with Bernie. He was just given a pretty hard diagnosis, I think Parkinson's. But we all wish the best for Bernie, and we're all pulling.
But not the Browns. Apparently, they fired him. I mean, can't we just have him lingering around, walking around, or whatever like that? I mean, good God, seems a bit much. Anyway.
I think maybe when he's there, Like maybe he kind of like wears out his welcome. Like he gets in everybody's ear. He's a very intelligent guy. So I think he's leaning into the quarterback's ear. He's leaning into the coaches. It's like, Bernie, okay, we got it. Just go stand there. And I don't necessarily thought that he did that. At one point, he was kind of maybe wanting to like pseudo coach in a way. And he was in the booth calling preseason games for the Browns, but
yeah. How did that sound? I imagine he's a little jarbled, that mouth there of Bernie.
Yeah.
When you mix scotch and painkillers, that can lock that jaw up there for those NFL parents. But you said, God bless Bernie anyway.
Yeah, there's definitely a little Leon Spinks there with Bernie for sure.
All right, let's dive into the schedule here, McGannon. Cleveland Browns, you threw 11 wins. That's a gaudy number. You guys have a tough schedule coming up. Like I said, you do have a loaded roster though. You brought in Devin Bush and Jordan Hicks on defense. Out is Tamako. Of course, Nyoku. I know he's your favorite at tight end. He's a matchup. He's a matchup nightmare. So if Watson can't play, so look at his schedule here. Early on, not too bad. Great opener versus the Cowboys. What do you think there?
Yeah. Before I get into that, CJ, as you know, we are smack dab in the middle of engagement season, and if you're anything like me, you don't know the first thing about buying a diamond ring. Do me a favor, head on down to Bookman and Sons Fine Jewelry. Talk to my guy, Josh. It's a no haggle atmosphere, no pressure. You walk in. He's not going to ask you for your email address. He's not going to ask you for your phone number. You ever go into a jewelry store and the first thing they ask you for is your email address?
The worst.
No thanks. Goodbye. Yeah, not at Bookman and Sons. So head on down to 8803 Brecksville Road in sunny Brecksville, Ohio. Tell them Brian sent you. Yeah, I really like the Browns' chances against the Cowboys. The Browns haven't won a season opener. Shoot, and I want to say 66 years. Maybe?
66 years has it been? That's a long time. Yeah. That is a long time.
Mark it down right now.
Since Ernie Shavers, huh?
Since Ernie Shavers, but I'm saying it here right now. It's going to be 69 again because the Browns are going to lose to the Cowboys in week 1.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Lose to the Cowboys, then you go to Jacksonville. Not easy to play in South Florida in the heat, although I think that's North Florida, Jacksonville. But the point is, you go down there in that humidity in September. Not easy. So you could possibility start 0-2, that's for sure. But then you have the Giants and Raiders, no problem. Washington, Philly's a nice game. But then after that, once Philly starts this division, I know you said you're not impressed by this division. I am. Bengals, Ravens. Steelers will definitely have a down year with Russell Wilson, but schedule gets tough in that back end. That's why 11 wins seems ambitious. But you like them, huh?
I think the Browns are going to sweep the AFC North this year.
Well, you can get a hefty price on that. That's for sure if you do that.
Yeah. Lamar Jackson starting off the season with mono or something happened. He was a few weeks or a few days late to camp this year. Right. I think that's really going to – I really think that's going to come back to bite him. So it was between the Browns and the Ravens this year, but I think the Browns are going to take the AFC North, sweep the division this year.
Well, I like it. I tell you what, that 5-1, that's be a nice little. That's a nice little price. I do think there is value of them being the third place team in that division, just because Baltimore does have some question marks. Cincinnati, who knows? What do you think of? You're the right guy to ask about this. An Ohio guy in general. What do you think about Joey Burrow's haircut coming in there looking with a Slim Shady? He said he was just bored, and it's kind of like I know there's a certain class of Ohio whites that come in there with that rap style.
Yeah, it's like he's great, and was great pretty fast, like almost immediately. But he's a schmo from the middle of Ohio, right? So like he's not used to being like famous. So you see him like really trying to grow into his fame in like real time, and he just doesn't know how to wear it well.
Right.
It seems awkward. It seems really, really awkward and not natural. Just be Joe Burrow. You know what I mean?
Just be Joe Burrow. And you know what? And I just wanted you just to be
McGregor. Not,
right.
Not, you know what I'm saying.
I know what you're saying. That's why I wanted you to just be Brian McGannon. No character needed, but yeah, it dropped out. Anything you want to tell AC Generous? Thank you for joining us. Anything you want to tell AC Generous how to reach you? I know you're usually off the grid, and that's why I didn't even use your real picture on my whip thumbnail. But appreciate you joining us to talk everything Cleveland. I hope Cleveland has a great season. Anything you want to tell the teams where they can find you or anything like that?
No.
Perfect. All right, we'll go get your engagement rings down there, Joseph & Sons, and thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
All right, there he is. We'll remove Brian McGannon. There it was, Brian McGannon. That was great. Came in with a terrible connection. I mean, he was so excited for it, and then he comes up with a connection like that. But we plowed through. We got through it. Anyway, I'm going to take a quick break here to talk about rhythm. Tell you, just like I know we got inside information from our Cleveland guy, but also if you go to Rhythm, they can tell you how to, hold on, how to get, there we go. There's the modern graphics. Good on prop bets because football season is here and NFL models are now live on Rhythm. You can create your own winning betting model on Rhythm or let Rhythm do the heavy lifting for you. Decide what stats matter most to you. Build a custom model around that. Build your own model. That was the original title for the movie Weird Science. Let it say I predicted do it. Anyway, claim your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. At sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. You're going to want it for the football season. It kills it on props. I'm telling you. Circa Survivor and Circa Millions is also back with their contest. $16 million in guaranteed prizes. Imagine the regret you feel if you win your Survivor pool and you didn't enter the Circa Survivor. It's giving away $10 million. Like me, the road to 10 million. You don't have a trip to Vegas booked yet? Well, come on out. Ultimate Contest Weekend is a great time to go hang out with Ryan and Sean and me. I want to be out there. August 22nd through August 24th. There's open bar events, the greatest sports book in the world. Use promo code SGP15. You save 15% off your hotel room at Circa. Sign up in person between now and September 7th. Use a proxy to play from anywhere. We sign up in person Circa Sports between now and September 7th. Use a proxy to play from anywhere. We have a deal with Proxy. Go to proxyfootballcontest.com. Save you $50 with the promo code. And we're back on the Bottom Line Bobs. I am your host, CJ Sullivan, the man in the box. Oh, man, that was great. That was Brian McGannon for the Cleveland Browns. I knew he was going to go long, went a little long. We kept him in check. It's always hard to keep him in check. So that's why I didn't mind a bad connection, because at least the bad connection kept him in check. And he did drop a funny ad read there. He's one of a kind. He does know his Browns. I'll tell you that. He tells you that rookie running back, you grab him. He'll find guys you'll never even know that are on your map. On your map. Anyway, yeah, come out to Circa Survivor. Come out to Circa that weekend, August 22nd, 24th, to sign up for the Survivor contest. I mean, $10 million in prizes. It's $1,000. Pick one. I'm going to be in it. You got my Road to 10 Million documentary. Matter of fact, if you go out there to Vegas and you find me, C-Generates, just say hi to me. Find me. I'll be out there. I will put you in the latest Road to 10 Million chapter of my series. You know my series. Everyone who subscribes to the Bottom Line Bombs here on YouTube and my Instagram at CJ Sullivan was taken. Let me switch the banner actually, so you show it's me. Or on X at CJ Sullivan on X. You know I do the Road to 10 Million series. I've done 12 parts. I'm going to pick it back up again that weekend as I enter the Circa Survivor contest and win $10 million. But you'll get to be in it if you come out and see me. Or Sean and Ryan. So that'd be fun. All right, let's talk the rest of the AFC North. I got McGannon texting me right now. Like he doesn't know I'm doing the fucking show. Good God, these people. I mean, God bless him at all. Give me his results later. He's gonna be on a ledge after this. McGannon, if I know McGannon, he's already talking about how his performance. He's gonna be on a ledge. He's gonna be on suicide watch for the next couple months. And that's why I'm doing these segments. I love it. Anyway, all right, let's talk AFC North. Like we said, so the Cleveland Browns are picked to come in third at 5-1. The other two top teams, Baltimore and Cincinnati. Baltimore is your favorite at plus 140. The Bengals are right behind you at plus 165. Yeah, this is going to be a tough division, despite what McGannon said. Ravens are plus 550 to win the AFC, 10 to 1 to win a Super Bowl. Their win total is 10.5. Bengals are 10.5. That's what I mean. The Browns are 8.5. The Steelers are 8.5. This is the highest division in football as far as win totals goes. If you had picked off, if you would take the overs, I mean, there's not even enough amount of wins. Serial with breaking news says Zadarius Smith was carted off the field. Report came out as they had the Browns guy on. Here he could have got he missed out on Zadarius Smith information because he was in his car giving me a report. He's not gonna be happy about that. My God. There's nothing worse than training camp injuries. They come all the time because it's just like, because they put them like, all right, gung ho, 2-a-days. People are ripping hamstrings. Take it easy, coaches. We don't have to work it out. These guys are professionals. All right, let me give out some props here for Baltimore. Now, Baltimore, of course, they lost Greg Roman. He went over to the Chargers. They might have a different style. Lamar Jackson, say what you want about him because he doesn't win in the playoffs. He does great in the regular season. So he'll just be just fine. He's 22 to 1 to win the MVP. His total rushing touchdowns is 5.5. It seems low. Of course, they signed Derrick Henry. Just like I said, Joe Flacco seemed like he was a Cleveland Brown the entire time, even though he played for the Ravens. Like, how has Flacco never been on the Browns before? Derrick Henry seems like he's been a Baltimore Raven his whole life, or he's been destined to be a Raven. Even though he's played his entire career at Tennessee, he seems like a Raven, like Eddie George when he went to the Ravens towards the end of his career. Like, he seems like, of course he's going to be on the Ravens. Derrick Henry, of course he's going to be on the Ravens. He is the Ravens. He's got a crazy number for rushing touchdowns. 10.5 is his over-under. But the way Baltimore plays, I mean, he's an older back who's been fading. He's going to have a rejuvenate. I don't know if I don't recommend any individual prop plays usually ever because you're fading injuries. Like, why would you have your money locked up? Because you don't know what he's going to do. But Henry's going to have a big year for Baltimore. He is. And it's just going to be him. There's no more Gus the Bus or J.K. Dobbins. All those bullshitters went to the Chargers too. It's going to be Derrick Henry. So if you want to do a prop, I wouldn't do yards, but Derrick Henry over 10.5 touchdowns, I can see that happen. I don't like the Ravens to win it. I mean, the Ravens probably will win a division. I actually do like the Browns at 5-1 to win the division. They do. They have the most value, I think, because they do have a loaded roster just as good as Baltimore or Cincinnati. I'll give you a nice play for my C-generates. And you can get this at 125-1. Are you ready for that? This is a bomb. This is a Bombenheimer. My market for Baltimore. Now, their defense, it's not the old Ravens defense, obviously. But they still play, and they still have that attitude. They don't have Patrick Queen. They traded up a couple guys. Their secondary gave up some big plays. They gave up big plays to Mahomes in the playoff game. They have Humphrey, but there's an open slot in that other cornerback, and they drafted a couple corners. The second corner they drafted in the 4th round out of Iowa State, TJ Tampa. TJ Tampa, he's a physical corner. He's exactly what the Ravens need. Now, he'll play. There's a possibility that he doesn't start, but eventually I think he might. Now, defensive player of the year, rookie, not defensive player of the year. I'm sorry, defensive rookie of the year. Much different. So like I said, I like Taquan Walker 100-1 for defensive player of the year. Who Serial also says he hopes I'm right because his cards would skyrocket. Still was number 1 in the league last year. Absolutely. He's got Keaton Mitchell get some work in. But TJ Tampa at 125-1 to win defensive rookie of the year, I like. Breece Hall, who did play with him at Iowa State, said TJ Tampa is going to be the steal of the draft. He's a legit corner, 1st-round talent. Now, playing a corner to be rookie of the year, you usually have to be someone like Sauce Gardner to do it. But this year, I think that there's actually an open market in rookie of the year, defensive rookie of the year this year. Usually it's chalk that gets it. You need this guy who piles up sacks and someone who's always going to the first round. But this year, there was no one drafted in the first round, at least in the first half of the first round, on the defensive side of the ball at all. So there's not that blue chip talent on defensive rookies this year. So I think you can you can go deep. So see, Jennings, if you want to do a little sprinkle, a little Bommenheimer, 125-1, TJ Tampa, rookie of the year. Roquan Smith is a dog, also meant to be a Raven. You're goddamn right. They are just there's just players that are just absolute Ravens. And I tell you when you don't want to play the Ravens, October. Halloween in Baltimore, that Edgar Allan Poe, things get dark there at night. So I like the Ravens. They'll be fine. 10.5 seems high for a win. I'd like there's juice to the over as well. I kind of lean under there, but I don't like playing those. There's no value in any of those things. They'll be good. They'll win. They'll get there. Harbaugh gets his wins. But the Bengals are going to be better. You're not going to get those same Bengals as you did last year. Those Bengals are big game hunters. I got my Phillies baseball hat on. I have a feeling the Bengals are kind of like the Phillies, or the Miami Heat, if you will. They don't really take the regular season that seriously. They take a while to get ready. Like, we'll be ready for the playoffs. We'll get in there. We'll make a run and get in there. This year, though, the Phillies are different. The Phillies are the best team in baseball. They start off hot. I think the Bengals might try that out this year, too. Like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's see if we just start winning games and take the regular season seriously. Not have to play all our playoff games on the road and go to Camaro Head and win there. Joe Burrow back 9-1 to win the MVP. Jamar Chase plus 750 offensive player. I think Jamar Chase has a monster year for the Bengals. Obviously, there's a T. Higgins situations going on. They lost Tyler Boyd, who goes to where do you go? He went to Tennessee, I believe, with Campbell. I forgot to bring that up with Brian McGann. Bill Callahan, our O-line coach, went to Tennessee as well because his son went there, Brian Callahan. But that being said, the Bengals lost. Who else did they lose? They lost. That's the run. But they brought in Zach Moss, and they also have Chase Brown because they lost Joe Mixon. He went to Houston. Zach Moss. Over under for the season is 5.5 rushing touchdowns. That seems absurdly low. He's going to be the RB1 for a great offensive team in the Bengals. And they have a quarterback, not like Lamar Jackson or Deshaun Watson or even Russell Wilson, Justin Fields. They have a quarterback who ain't running shit. Joe Burrow came in there with the Slim Shady hair. He ain't running nothing in. Give me Zach Moss over 5.5 rushing touchdowns. I'll take that season prop. He can have that half the season. Shout out to Eminem, who I caught, by the way. You know what? I'll save that for the box segment. I went to the Crawford fight in Los Angeles over the weekend. Eminem performed. He gave a little performance, not too bad. Then he sat with the Sheik, His Excellency. Sheik Shady, I like to call him, or Slim Sheiky. It was pretty gross. Saudi Arabia, blood money, schmud money, they put on a good show. Anyway, that's not the point. Serial does not like my TJ Tampa. He says Kalen Carson is the next great corner, which it's hard to disagree. I mean, he looks great. His nickname is Seatbelt, for crying out loud. But I'm telling you, TJ Tampa, he's going to be a steal. He's a physical player. Anyway, all right. So, like I said, Bengals 10.5 win total, 8-1 to win the conference, 16-1 to win the Super Bowl. Not too. I like the Bengals a lot this year. I think they do win this division. I will sprinkle a little on the Browns because I think there's more value on them. But gun to my head, and I'm not playing any of these numbers. I think the Bengals come out kind of like the Phillies in baseball, where like enough messing around on a regular season. Let's see what happens if we take the lead, and then have Baltimore nose catching up, guys. So. We'll see. Lane Gretzky, welcome to the chat. Says, what's up, my guy? What's up, Lane? How you doing? Talking NFC North. We talked Olympics beforehand. I might talk boxing at the end and in the man in the boxing ring. Might do some of that. All right, shout out my emails. Shout out to my C-generates. Come on over to the YouTube if you're watching on Twitter. That way you can jump into comments. I was saying I was getting fan mail via email, which I love. Hilarious. So analog. Yes, the younger generation will DM you. Fuck that. You guys are like, no way. I don't know how to do social media. I'll find an old email. It's like we're typing out a letter. All right, so like we talked Bengals, we've talked Ravens, we've talked Cleveland Browns. Now, there's only one team left in the AFC North. The Pittsburgh Steelers, Yin Steelers, the Stars. I, of course, went to Duquesne University in Pittsburgh. I got jumped right into that culture with when Bill Cowher was there and Cardell. Care! Back when the fans would yell, Care Purr! Sound like they were saying Care Bear, but they're saying Cower Power. Care Purr! Care Purr! Care Purr! Cardell! Get in there, punt! Anyway, now it's time where I'm going to bring on my second guest. As I said, this show is moving along fast. With the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, Pittsburgh Steelers, there's some value. Their win total is 8.5. Everyone likes them to go low. 50-1 to win a Super Bowl. They are 6-1 to win a division, which is dead last. Anyway, well, I had a great interview with my guy Ken Barnard, who lives in Baltimore. He's a Yinzer through and through, big Steeler guy, also in my fantasy league, former comic. So without further ado, let me see if my let me bring in my video file. Did I not have the hold on. How did I not have this ready, for crying out loud? Geez Louise, hold on. I can't believe I had here we go. All right, without further ado, here we go. Got it. The Yins guys here. Pittsburgh Steelers to wrap up the AFC North. And after this interview with Ken Barnard, owner of the Little Mermaids, I will wrap it up with a man in the box with possibly a little boxing recap. I love you, C-Generous. Here we go for the second interview in the box. Pittsburgh Steelers. All right, we're here talking Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm bringing in great guest Ken Barnard, Yinzer, living in Baltimore right now. This is my favorite former comedian and Steeler insider, if you will, Ken Barnard. Welcome, Ken Barnard, to the box and the Bottom Line Bombs.
Thank you very much. Happy to be the Yinzer in the box with you here. Yoy and double yoy. I got my Myron Cope on today.
I see that, and I went Iron City for you as well. And this is not a Steelers hat, but it's yellow and black, so it's
close enough.
Yeah, I got a nice Canva. Got a nice picture of you there back there with. Is that just a guy you met randomly at a Steelers game there, the sombrero?
That is probably the best football game I've ever been to. That was Steelers versus the Chargers in Los Angeles when they played in that tiny soccer stadium.
Yep, guaranteed rate. Great stadium.
Oh yeah, all Steelers fans. That was when our quarterback was Duck Hodges. And he was blowing a duck call.
I see the duck, and I see the duck hat. You have a duck on the hat. I'm like, what the fuck was that for? Is it Roethlisberger throwing duck?
Yes,
I forgot Duck Hodges.
This was the hunting theme. I got camo pants. So yeah, and my wife has a picture somewhere, but there was a Chargers season ticket holder that went to that game and sat behind us, and you could just tell on his face from my constant duck calling, he should have sold the tickets. He could have made $1,000 and not have to listen to
right
for 4 hours. But great game.
All right, let's fire it up here. Overall, what's your general feelings with the Steelers coming out? Speaking of my Canva work, look at this.
Whew, beautiful. You got the Heinz logo knockoff in there. You got Terry Bradshaw, and who's that? Willie Stargell.
Yeah, Willie Stargell, and they're both Sportsman of the Year there. It's the City of Champions.
Sure.
Yin's got you bringing in Russell Wilson and Justin Fields, two quarterbacks. I know you you have strong opinions on it. Justin Fields, a great fantasy quarterback of the Little Mermaids. Shout out to the Little Mermaids of the CCFL.
But what do you think about that just in general, Russell Wilson and Justin Fields coming in?
So here's the interesting thing about the Steelers. They have fired Mike Canada as their offensive coordinator.
Yep.
They traded Kenny Pickett, one of the worst starting quarterbacks ever. And their offense this year could actually be worse than it was last year.
Come on.
I mean, you're replacing Matt Canada with Arthur Smith. I mean, Justin Fields, I think the best thing I can say about Justin Fields is he is going to lose Steelers games like the fan base has never seen before.
Yeah, that's true. They don't know what they're getting with Justin Fields. He's hilariously a blunder quarterback.
It is, it's going to be interesting. And, we haven't had a quarterback of color in some time. So, there's going to be a point, week 4, week 5 that, a sensitive, PC snowflakes might have to disable comments on some of that stuff. But yeah, Justin Fields probably going to be a nightmare.
Definitely disable comments. Now, for my time in Pittsburgh, when I went to Duquesne University, and this goes way back, obviously, but yeah, Pittsburgh, of course, got some racism in it, like any city or anywhere in America. They'll hide it a little bit. Like, let's say, like Cordell Stewart was the quarterback when he was doing bad. They just spread some "he's gay" rumors. They'd master racism with homophobia, tack that in there, and say, "Yeah, I heard Cordell was sucking a guy off, and the cop said let him off," or something like that.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it's a really hilly town, so it's easy to hide the racism, in these little caves and tunnels and et cetera.
But I'd say, the offense has got to be better just because of replacing Canada with Arthur Smith. And Arthur Smith, bad head coach. Say all you want about that, but he's a good offensive coordinator. And they only threw. I was just looking at some stats here. They threw for 13 passing touchdowns last year. That's impossible.
Yeah, I mean the whole Kenny Pickett thing. They drafted him because they were familiar with him from Pittsburgh. They practice in the same facility as the Panthers. Drafting Kenny Pickett in the first round, the only quarterback drafted in the first round that year, is essentially marrying your high school sweetheart. They're like, I know he can get me off. I've seen him. I've gotten 4 years of decent hand jobs. Let's lock this in for 6 or 7 years, and obviously it didn't last that long.
As far as playmakers goes, they have Pickens, of course. They don't really have a number 2 receiver. I guess they're going with Roman Wilson. Is that what they're going to try to get in there?
They got Van Jefferson.
Yeah, right.
Roman Wilson, who got hurt in training camp, and then Calvin Austin, who is a speedster guy. But they don't really have any established. They don't even have like a Brandon Cooks or anybody that's that you would really trust in that 2 role. So I think your number 2 receiver is probably going to be the tight end Pat Freiermuth.
Yes.
And I mean, who knows? Maybe Cordell Patterson. I think.
Another Cordell in there. Let's get a Cordell. Let's get Cowher. Now, never like that soundbite of Bill Cowher going, "Cordell, get in there and punt." And they would play that all the time, and involves Cordell Stewart slash. But speaking of which, they will. I mean, that's what Arthur Smith does do. He runs the ball with 2 backs. So Najee Harris and Warren, of course, will painfully split the carries again, I guess, this year.
Yeah, and that is in line with the Steelers' mentality. Is not necessarily just the smash mouth running the football, but being stupid with how they telegraph everything. They're basically saying they're going to run the ball. They're not interested in motion or play action. They want to. They're the meathead that wants to be tougher than you at the expense of analytics. And
now let's get over to the head coach, Mike Tomlin.
Tuck that cross. See
tuck that cross. You say, huh?
If I knew that this image was going to be in there, I would have requested you Photoshop it. I don't like how you would never have. If you were a politician, I mean, maybe. You don't wear. I don't want to. Nobody wants to see it. I don't want to see it. Right. You're a representative of the town and the city. Tuck the cross is what I will say to your viewers. I hope that catches on. But yes, I will.
It's not going to catch on, especially with Steeler fans or football fans in general. If you're going to tell them to get Jesus Christ out of their football, that's not going to happen. But of course, he's the longest tenured head coach. Never had a losing season. I'm not sure if you're aware of that as a Steeler fan, Ken. this might be the first time they've ever done it. And he's actually, I was kind of surprised. He's 16-1 to be the first head coach fired, which is kind of mid ground, like one of the favorites. Now, to everyone else but Pittsburgh, it seems like blasphemy to fire Mike Tomlin. But real Yinzers like yourself have been telling me for years that he is not a good coach. Please explain.
Okay, so I have been meaning to check before this. I don't know where he is in the contract status. I feel like he did get re-upped for 2 or 3 years. Mm-hmm. So, and just you can put whatever number you want with a plus in front of it. The Rooneys will not fire a coach that is under contract. They are frugal or cheap or whatever you want to say. Not going to happen. They do not do it.
What specifically do you hate about Mike Tomlin as a coach?
All right. So all the things that I liked about him initially, I hate. He is a media personality. He is not a football coach. You listen to him. I mean, there are bingo cards of all the Tomlinisms. Iron sharpen iron. Defend every blade of grass. The standard is the standard. We do what we do. These are all just words. He's a fantastic politician. As far as coaching football, I don't think he's good at all. Now, the never had a losing season thing is, like we were talking about, I think, in pre-show. It is this contrived media thing that the people say, but it doesn't really mean anything. So to me, when people say that Mike Tomlin's never had a losing season, it's the same thing whenever, the Wall Street Journal comes out and says, oh, well, unemployment went down. Things are doing good. It's like, no, unemployment's down because, your Uber driver has an Uber driver to get him to his, his graveyard shift. It's a made up media fact that doesn't mean anything. Never had a losing season is like, you go to a car dealership and you ask the guy like, well, how safe is the car? And the car dealer says, well, it's got a 5-star crash safety rating when it runs into helicopters and speedboats. It sounds like it's a good thing, right? Never had a losing season. That sounds like a good thing,
right? Yeah. Means he wins.
But yeah, it means you win. But no, I would be like, asking somebody, hey, is your dog friendly? And you would say like, well, he's never stabbed anybody. It sounds like
right.
It sounds like that's a good thing, but it's not. And yeah, if you were to explain that to somebody outside of football, Mike Tomlin's never had a losing season. Okay, so you guys won that season? We didn't win. So you won the Super Bowl? No, we didn't win. We just didn't lose.
We didn't lose.
Yeah. So it's a meaningless thing.
We didn't stab a dog.
Correct.
Let's put it that way.
So yeah. So his catchphrase of the standard is the standard, I think bites him in the ass because the standard is poor.
The schedule is pretty tough here. It starts off nice and easy for Russ. Yeah. Tell you what, after that bye week 9, it gets pretty tough for them. Besides Washington, you got all of your divisional games, and you guys are picked to come dead last in the division, and then the Eagles and Chiefs. That is not a good way to finish the season.
No, and here's the thing: they always drop a game against the Raiders. They lost the Raiders. They lost against Bruce Gronkowski Raiders. They lost against the Terrell Pryor Raiders. They always lose to the Raiders. They'll lose that game. They'll lose the Cowboys game. So that first 6 weeks, they are optimistically they're 4-2. But I don't think that first half of the season is as much of a cakewalk, or the first third is as easy as we think.
What do you think about that? What do you think about that opener at Atlanta? A little Arthur Smith revenge game versus Kirk Cousins in Atlanta. That could go either way.
That could go either way. It'll be interesting to see.
But it's also a Cordell Patterson revenge game.
It is. There's a lot of revenge going on there.
You're a Pittsburgh fan in the city of Baltimore. Your rival, the Baltimore Ravens. The Steelers just acquired last year, Patrick Queen, the famous Ravens linebacker, to juice up the rivalry. And he acclimated himself to Pittsburgh very well by saying Pittsburgh food is better than Baltimore food. He says, I'm a big food guy. I love food. I'm more of a true food guy than a rather seafood guy. I like meat and stuff like in that. It's just a better atmosphere for me here. What a crazy quote. A true food guy, which is meat and stuff, not your flaky seafood out there in Baltimore. And this, of course, had a huge debate online between Pittsburgh food and Baltimore line. Well, by that I mean Reddit, and Yinzers and Baltimore's. Now you're in the crux of it. You, I think, might be the foremost expert in the country of this as a Yinzer living in Baltimore, because no other Pittsburgh people would dare go out there. I put a couple of the basics here. You got your permanis on the right, of Pittsburgh salad and pierogies versus crab cakes and whatever other shit Baltimore throws at you. What say you in this debate between Pittsburgh food and Baltimore food?
Here's the thing. You have, for Pittsburgh, you have pictures of a sandwich and a salad with fries on it and pierogies, which is all correct. Mm-hmm. If you have ever been to Pittsburgh, if you ever go to Pittsburgh, the only thing I can think of that Patrick McQueen says this is he likes Italian food. Literally every restaurant in Pittsburgh is Italian. It's all pizza. So if he eats like a child, I get it. And pizza's great, but that is the majority of when you're, they're going to show the permane sandwich during the game. If you drive around the city of Pittsburgh, it is all Italian. So that's the only thing I can think of. I would say that Baltimore has better food. I think there's a little bit more variety. It's not even a seafood, they have more seafood here. But yeah, I'm happy to have Patrick Queen on the team. I would disagree with him here, but I get, if he likes sausages more than fish, then he's in the right town.
No, what about pierogies versus crab cakes in general? That seems like to be the hot topic. I think pierogies is more fun to say than crab cakes, but I'll prefer crab cakes over it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like I live in Baltimore. I eat a crab cake like maybe every other month or something. But yeah. I could always do a pierogi. The other thing is, like, you can have a bad crab cake.
You can definitely have a bad crab cake, and they're always never really. They're always disappointing in general. Like, even if they're good at first, like, you're not going to bang out 4 or 5 crab cakes.
No, and especially in this economy, the crab ain't cheap. So if you're talking bang for your buck, you're definitely you're getting filled up on a pierogi, because a crab cake out here is going to cost you $30 for one. So I mean, he's got a good contract, so he can eat whatever he wants. But yeah,
if that's not a T-shirt, I don't know what is. In this economy, the crab ain't cheap. That's fucking hilarious. All right, Ken, I'm going to let you go. I know you have a community chorus to go to, like all my football insiders on a Sunday, and you'll be praying for a good, I know you won't be praying to the cross. Tomlin, tucking that cross.
Tuck the cross, Mike!
And manifest a good Steelers season. Thank you for joining us, Ken Barnard, and have a good Sunday.
Thank you very much. Happy to be here.
Yes, there it was. There was Ken Barnard, the Yinzer in Baltimore. I want to thank him and, of course, Brian McGannon for joining us here in the box and the bottom line bombs. I'm kind of liking this whole guest thing. Less work for me. I mean, I gotta do the visuals on the Canva and all of that. Kyle Boland in the chat room says, excellent visual hierarchy, CJ, and he's a graphic designer. That's Mr. Blue Steel himself. Kyle Boland. Welcome to the chat room. I'm glad you could come by. If you don't know, C-Generates, matter of fact, I'll show you. He's the one who designed the Bottom Line Bomb logo. You see right there in the upper left. I'll put that right there. So he's a designer. So when he says great visual hierarchy, that's a compliment. He's the designer of that, and he gave that to me as a gift. Of course, I used to write for Freedom for his Voodoo Brown website, but that's besides the point. Good friend of ours, Kyle Boland, and want to thank everyone for coming into the show. That's the thing. There's so much less work is for content wise. I mean, it's a lot of work getting together and wrangling these lunatics, and putting them all together. But then once it airs, I'm fine. And next, I'm already over on time. I didn't even get to talk about the boxing match I went to on Saturday night. I'll talk about that on Thursday, on the next Thursday show. Thursday show, because I only have one guest on Thursday. I'm doing the AFC South on Thursday, and I'm bringing in Megan Gailey, the great comic Megan Gailey. She's an Indianapolis resident or native Colts fan. She has great insider. She has some. Well, I don't want to spoil it, but she has some saucy Pat McAfee stories as well. She's great. She's going to come jump on, talk about the Colts. We'll talk AFC South then. And then I'll have more time to do Man in the Box. Then I'll talk all about Saturday night's Crawford fight at BMO Stadium, Eminem concert, the Saudi Arabian funded, all the races and how it saved our lives and brought us together. It was a great night here in Los Angeles. I'll talk about the fighting then. But now, we got I got to wrap up the show because it's been such a great time. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. My official play on the Pittsburgh Steelers is under 8.5. I'll give that bomb. I think this will be Mike Tomlin's first losing season, and then all those idiot Steeler fans can finally complain about something. See, had a loser. Serial says he's open for a Cowboys convo. You know what? I do have a Cowboys insider lined up, Serial. I would love to have you on there. But tuned in. NFC East is not until the end, I believe, because, well, you got to talk about your Super Bowl champion Eagles. But I know about your Cowboys. I was just at Cowboy camp, to be honest with you, Serial, out at the Roosevelt Golf Club. We play out there in River Ridge, out there in Oxnard, and that's where the Cowboys have their camp. It was pretty gross. A line of a lot of fans lined up to go to Cowboys training camp. A lot of jean shorts, a lot of bad fade haircuts, a lot of douchebags. What I'm trying to say. Anyway, that's going to do it for today's Bottom Line Bombs. Make sure you thank you again, Brian McGannon, Ken Barnard, for joining us. Make sure you give me a follow at Instagram at CJ Sullivan was taken, underscores in between every word, or on X at CJ Sullivan underscore. Make sure you hit the thumbs up on the YouTube if you like this button. Like the show. Subscribe, like it, help the algorithm out, everything you can. Like I said, we're going to roll around and continue on with these divisional breakdowns. And football season is here. It is upon us. No, I did not show up in Phil's gear, Ciro. I had a golf tournament to fucking lose for the Roosevelt Golf Club. Although, I know. Anytime I wear regular ball caps on the golf course, I sweat through them. I used to do that for fashion. I don't care about fashion anymore. That's why golf fashion, it's supposed to be hideous because you're going to sweat through it. So I don't mind that. Anyway, that's going to do it for today's show. I'm going to, tonight's Phillies Dodgers game. I forgot. I'm going tonight to Chavez Ravine. I'm heading there after this. Nola and Glasnow pitching. I'll give out an under for that. 7.5 is the under. I'll drop the bomb on that. So yeah, there it is. There's AFC North. So I'll see you guys on Thursday. With that, thank you for joining us. And that's it. I'm just babbling now. I will play a theme song. And then after this, I'm going to play a little for the Cleveland Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I'll play some classic. Well, I don't know what I'll play. All right. I'll see.